Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. And let me say a big good afternoon to Dorothy Phillip, who is in studio with us this afternoon. It's so good to see you. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon to you too, Jen.
Yes, and our listeners as well.
Yes.
So before we even start talking to you, let me just say a little bit about Dorothy, and just to have a little preamble as well. And it's like sometimes life redirects us not to break us, but to position us for purpose, right? And this afternoon, we're joined by a woman whose journey is not just one of survival, but of strength, transformation, and fearless advocacy. That's right. After a long changing cancer diagnosis, she turned her pain into power and became a pillar of hope for countless families here in St. Lucia. She is a 17-year breast cancer survivor, founder of Faces of Cancer St. Lucia, and the island's first certified patient navigator for breast and pancreatic cancer. So, it's my honor to present and to welcome again the resilient, the inspiring Dorothy K. Skeete. You put that in. Phillip. Yes. All right. Long time. Didn't see that word. You know, I still remember K. So every time I'm saying your name, I have to take a break first. And no, it's Phillip. You know, that sort of thing. When we have the double barrel names. Yes. So K, I mean, you advocate a lot. A lot of people, if they don't know you personally, they know of you. And of course, a lot of people know that you are in remission. You are a cancer survivor. And a lot of people know about Faces of Cancer. But there might be some persons who hearing about this and knowing about you for the first time. So let me ask you first and foremost. You're at work. You're working. Everything is going fine. You have a great job. You have a great family. Life is going good. And then, all of a sudden, one day. So let's take it from there.
Yes. One day is all it takes, one day. I remember what brought about my day is that I found what I thought was a mosquito bump on my breast. It was red, just like as if a mosquito had bitten me. And I didn't take it for nothing. Of course, I thought it was a mosquito because we have lots of mosquitoes in St. Lucia.
All over the world.
But after about 3 weeks, that mosquito bump was still there. So I decided, let me go to the doctor and let her know that mosquito bite is there for 3 weeks now. At least she'd give me something to rub it on so that the mosquito bite would disappear. So when I went into her and I told her about the mosquito bite, she's like, let me have a look at it. She had a look at it and she said, well, I just did a clinical breast exam for you not too long ago. It's not even 6 months yet, so I don't think it's anything to worry about. But let's be sure, and I'm going to send you for a biopsy if you said this thing is just there. So she sent me for a biopsy, and lo and behold, a long 3 months after, I got the call that it was cancer. So that was my moment when I realized that what I thought was a mosquito bump was not really a mosquito bump.
Imagine that.
Yes. And so, well, Jan, you know the type of person I am. I'm a big mouth person sometimes. So I started telling everybody I had cancer what it was. I went down to my office, I called a staff meeting, and I told all the staff that I was diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
At this time, there was no tears or anything. It was just like ordinary to me. So when I told them that I was diagnosed with cancer, people started bawling and crying. And I'm like, what are you all crying for? I did not say I was dying. I just told you guys that I had cancer.
Positive thinking.
Yes. And so because of the type of cancer it was a very aggressive cancer. So my doctor at the time, the surgeon, he wanted to do surgery 4 days after. And so
4 days after informing you?
yes.
Wow.
He said he had to move fast because they had taken a while before they got the results. So he wanted to move really fast. So I went home. He told me the amount of money to bring the morning of, and I asked him if I had that money under my pillow. Because it was a huge sum of money.
I could well imagine. But that was a good answer.
Yeah. So
keeping the smile on you while you're saying it, right?
So I went home and I started thinking, because Jan, I used to be a facilities manager before. That's what I studied in school, and they always taught you to think, never give an answer right away. When you're told something, you think about it first and see what is the best answer you can come up with. So I went home and I had a good think about that. And so the morning I was supposed to do the surgery, I went to the hospital and I informed them that I was not going to do the surgery because I had a number of concerns of my own which were not addressed. So, of course, being an American citizen, and I have my sisters, I have a lot of family in the U.S.
Right.
I called my sisters, I told them, and I said, look, whoever can get me the first appointment, that's where I'm going to do my treatment. And my sister, who was before me, called all excited. I have an appointment for you on Monday. Can you come on Sunday? Mine knew it was
That's
Saturday.
how many days? It's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Wow.
I said, I will be there. And so I left St. Lucia the Sunday, and I went to the doctor the Monday. But since I was not well informed about cancer, that was the first time I was actually hearing or knowing somebody with cancer, being myself, I did not know what to expect. So the doctor here had told me he would do the surgery and I would be able to go to work within a week. So I thought when I left St. Lucia, I left for 2 weeks thinking that I will be back shortly. But when I got to the US, I went to a surgeon, since I was seeing a surgeon over here, and she said, oh no, that's not the procedure. So she had to put together a team for me, and they sent me to an oncologist, and then testing began. It was more than I even expected. And since the cancer was very aggressive, they had showed me all the little cancer beans all over. They said they wanted to start as soon as possible. So I actually started chemotherapy on my birthday. On my 46th birthday was my first chemotherapy. And I remember the oncologist saying, Dorothy, you sure you want to start on the 6th? You
on that
always
day.
start on the 7th or the 8th. You don't have
Celebrate first.
I'm like, no. We're going ahead. We're doing it on that day. That's the first available appointment. We're doing it on that day. I'm not rescheduling. And so we started the process. So what I thought would have been 2 weeks ended up being 2 years.
Wow.
Yes. It was a very long process because I had a lot of failures. But luckily for me, at that time, they had just got one of the medications had just come out of clinical trials, and I was able to get that medication, and I think that's what saved me. Although along the way, it had to be tweaked many times, from every week to every 2 weeks to every 3 weeks, back to every week. It was a tweaking of the medication all the time. But I am very happy that I took that route. I learned a lot while I was out, because I told myself, if you're going to fight that cancer, you're going to learn everything you can about that cancer.
Right.
And so while in my free time, all I was doing was reading up on cancer as much as I could, reading up clinical trials, cleaning up research. So I was well informed doing that, doing my journey. I was well informed about everything that I had to go through. So much so I was so informed that towards the end, when the doctor said to me, Dorothy, we have to put you on tamoxifen for 5 years, I said, no, doc, you can't put me on tamoxifen. And she looked at me and she said, excuse me? I said, yeah, tamoxifen don't go with the type of cancer I have. So she said, give her minutes. And I saw her on her computer, checking. And she came and she apologized and she said, Dorothy, you are so right. And I couldn't go on tamoxifen. There was no maintenance drug that I could go on. And coming out of that, always tell people, Jan, you have to know your disease.
Yes.
You don't look at the doctors as God.
Because even they
because
make
even
mistakes.
They can make mistakes.
Right.
And you don't want to be
Yeah.
a product of a mistake.
Bravo to you.
So you
Mhm.
have to learn.
Mhm.
Find out all you can about the disease you have. That way you can help the doctor.
You're helping yourself.
Well, yourself and the doctor. You can help yourself and the
Mhm.
doctor. So
Mhm.
that's something I always talk about, educating yourself. And when I say educating yourself, I always tell people to be careful where you get your information.
Right.
You do not want to visit these .com sites and take information from there. They are not reliable information. You're better off going with .net or .org, but never a .com, because anybody can put anything on a .com.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And
True.
so that was my journey. It was long, but doable.
Mm-hmm.
Along the way, I met some very good doctors. All my doctors were in love with me because they said my attitude towards
Right.
treatments. I'm always
Mhm.
eager to get something done, and I always bring something to the table so we can discuss.
Right.
So everybody loved Dorothy because Dorothy was communicating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mhm.
important to be able to communicate with your doctor. A doctor loves a patient who communicates and asks a lot of questions.
Mhm.
So that's another thing I advocate for. Don't just go to the doctor and say, Doc, I have so. Go with a lot of knowledge that you would have done your research before, that when you sit down, you can talk to the doctor and come about what is best for you. Because sometimes, because of our culture, we're so timid when it comes to the doctor. We go to the doctor and we just let the doctor do whatever they
Yeah.
think.
I have this pain here, and then they have to give us
That's
the
right.
medication. We go home, we take the medication, and we don't understand what this medication can do to us other than cure whatever this pain is. You are so
Exactly.
correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So a lot of times we don't challenge the doctors. We just take whatever they say, and then we're quick to criticize in the end, not realizing it's our own fault.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things I always advocate for patients to speak up.
Right.
The doctor is not God. The doctor is running a practice. And as you know, with practice, there are errors. So you have to help the doctor not make these errors when it comes to you.
That's right. So, the listeners might think that I will be calling you Dorothy, but I'm used to calling her Kay. So it's the same person. Dorothy, Kay is the same person, not two people in the studio, okay? So, Kay, when you were first diagnosed, and that's in 2008, right?
Yes.
What was the hardest mental battle you had to overcome?
To be honest with you, Jan,
Mhm.
I cannot recall having a mental battle because of, I guess, my personality.
Mm.
I think being diagnosed did something good for me because I came from a professional background where I was firm. I dealt with a lot of men. Men had to listen to me. So it was a firm background. But I think after the cancer, it kind of tamed me a
Of
bit.
course. Of course.
It got me more spiritual. I learned a lot about taming my ego. So it just turned me into a different person from who I was. But I wouldn't say it was something mental. It's just that this was something that had to be done. It taught me to embrace love.
Right.
So
Love
because
and life.
yes, I remember telling myself, if God is love
Mm-hmm.
and you want God to help you, you should start loving everything. Yeah.
Totally.
So it just put me on a different path in life, and it showed me a lot of things in order to be here where I am.
Amen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about you often saying that if you're going to fight, you must know your opponent inside out, right?
Yes.
So how did educating yourself change your cancer journey?
Okay, so I had so many hurdles along the way. If I didn't educate myself, I think I would have given up, not knowing that these things could have been overcome. For instance, I had frozen shoulder for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I realized that my shoulder was frozen, like I couldn't shift, I started doing my research on frozen shoulder. Then I went to the doctor and said, Doc, I think I have frozen shoulder. And she looked at my shoulder, she took her measurements and so on, and she said, yes, it looks like you have frozen shoulder. And I'm like, okay, so what are we going to do? Are you going to send me to therapy? She said, well, before I send you to therapy, we will do some cortisone shots and see how that pans out. If it doesn't assist, then we can do the therapy. So you see, there was always that involvement.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't leave things up to the doctor to tell me what to do. I will ask, are we going to do so and so? What is the next step?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? How long you think I will be out with that shoulder? You
Right.
know? And so that was my whole journey, just asking, reading, finding out. I remember I lost the cognitive part of my brain was not working for a while. And so I couldn't speak in full sentences. I couldn't count money. There was a lot I couldn't do, only because I had gotten so much chemotherapy.
Right.
So I got chemo brain. And I read up a lot about chemo brain, and then I decided, okay, you're going to help yourself. So I started playing a lot of cards. And that was supposed to bring back my memory. And to this day, I still play a lot of cards. And of course, it did bring back my memory. I was able, I could remember things. I can count. There's a lot of things I can do. And so all of these things I went through, to me, was to assist people. Because I meet people all the time that have little things going on with them, and they want to know what they should do. Another one everybody's always amazed at, I had restless leg syndrome while I was getting my chemotherapy, which is the most annoying thing you can have. And so the simple cure for this was not even medicine. It was just putting a bar of soap under the blanket and it would stop right away. So I'd go to chemotherapy with my bar of soap. I lay down on the chair, I put my bar of soap
Repeat for persons. wait, repeat that.
A bar of soap under the blanket stops the restless leg syndrome.
Under the blanket. So you're talking about north or south of the blanket?
Towards your feet.
Oh, you
So
put it towards the feet.
Yeah.
But if you're sleeping, wouldn't it be moving? How you get
under
it?
the blanket.
I see what you're saying. Wow.
Yeah.
And you're talking about any bar of soap.
Any bar of soap.
Restless feet.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that I went through that I don't look at it as a bad thing, but I look at it as something I can now use to help people along the way.
Right.
There are a lot. There's so many. My toes used to ooze out a smelly liquid. All I had to do was soak my feet in dishwashing liquid for 15 minutes and it stopped.
Wouldn't that be too strong on the skin?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. So it's true the journey was long, but it was difficult for a reason. Because now I could use what I went through to help other people.
Right, correct.
And I
But before you go any further, because I want to go back a little bit and talk about the restless shoulder. Was it? What was it? Frozen shoulder. It was restless legs, yes, or feet. Okay, frozen shoulder. I want to talk about that because this is the first time I'm hearing this. So let's talk about it so we don't go too far away and then, I forget to ask.
Okay. So the frozen shoulder, I don't know if you remember that there was a Senator McCain.
Yes.
That had gone to war.
Yes,
in the
yes,
US, and
yes.
His hand, he had a hand that wouldn't go up. It would just go up about maybe 15 degrees, and it wouldn't go up anymore.
I think they spoke about that, but I didn't take on that. Yes.
Yes. So this is what I had.
But in the shoulder.
In the shoulder. Well, his was in the shoulder too, but because it was in the shoulder, the hand couldn't go up.
And for you, if it was in the shoulder,
it was in the shoulder, so my hand couldn't go up.
I see.
And they gave me a couple cortisone shots. They thought it would release whatever, and then I would be able to bring the hand up, but that never worked.
Right.
So I went to therapy for 6 months in order for them to work on it and get it to move again.
And that worked?
It worked.
Meaning
yes.
that you were able to put your hand in your hair or your head?
I could put
That's
my
great.
hand all the way up now.
And tie your shoes and
Yes,
everything. So
yes.
when it's frozen, you basically can't do anything with it.
No, you can't do anything with it.
That hand just stays
It
at
just
the
stays
level
there.
that it can reach.
That's right. It's not painful though, but it just would not go up.
I get you. Okay. So let's talk about at the time you were talking before we went back to the frozen shoulder, you were talking about assisting people.
Yes. Yes. So a lot of things I learned along the way with my journey, I can now tell people about it, especially patients that are going through the same. One of the very common things I get from patients is about their appetite. They cannot eat. They can hardly eat. And I always tell them, cut down on that plate of food you eat in. Eat in a saucer. Even if you eat 5 times, but eat in a saucer, you'll
Right.
still take in the same amount of food.
Yeah.
Because that way you trick in your brain into believing that this is a full plate of food, but it's actually not. So you could eat 4 or 5 times during the day, but eat it from a saucer. And that is a very helpful thing. And I always tell them to do not use, I know you think, people tend to think that plastics, you shouldn't be using plastics, but when you're actually going through chemotherapy, plastics is the better type of utensils to use, because when it hits your mouth, it does not taste of mud compared to if you're using metal. It has a very bad taste, and so it cuts off your appetite. So if you're using the plastics, it doesn't cut off your appetite. So it
As
will
in a
help you-
plastic spoon?
plastic spoon,
Fork,
fork,
what?
knife.
I see what
all
you're
plastic.
saying. Okay. Wow.
So-
So you had to experience that for you to
Exactly,
understand. Okay, got
exactly.
you.
So a lot of these things, the doctor could not tell you because the doctor is going off of what he studied in school.
That's right.
But a lot of these things, people actually go through cancer and try to figure out why these things were happening to them and actually tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we spoke a little bit about it, but how did educating yourself change your cancer journey? But we spoke a little bit about it.
Okay, so educating myself, I always felt was for me, so that I could be a better fighter. But it also gave me the zeal to keep learning. So of course I read about my own breast cancer, which was HER2 positive. I also started reading about other cancers
Got you.
and educating myself on other cancers because I started to see a correlation between some cancers. So of course I'm looking at ovarian cancer, I'm looking at cervical cancer, I'm looking at pancreatic cancer, and a lot of other cancers that are kind of related. So you find I ended up studying a lot of different cancers. And all of that it was not a waste. It was just that I wanted to do it in order to help myself. But then in the end, I ended up helping other people with that same knowledge I learned along the way.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Correct.
when I came back to St. Lucia after my 2 years of trials in the U.S., I decided to open Faces of Cancer because of the fact that when I was in St. Lucia, there was a lot of things I did not know about cancer. And when I actually started going into facilities and seeing people with cancer, the sisterhood that was there, everybody's talking and laughing, everybody's happy, I was like, that's something I'd like to see in St. Lucia. I don't want people to feel like it's all doom and gloom and they're going to die. You know, we walk in the chemotherapy room, everybody have their little baskets with chocolates, cookies, sharing things, who have the book to read. It was, and everybody's talking, so it was a nice atmosphere. And that is the atmosphere I want to see in St. Lucia. I don't want to see people looking all gloomy like they're going to die. You're already defeated if you think you're going to die. I want them to be happy. I want them to be talking to each other, laughing, doing things together. Just live like there's life to be lived. Live the life. Don't just sit down there and look all gloom and.
So you're basically talking about persons who may succumb to it and persons who, like you, have been 17 years strong. So you're talking about either way, enjoy the little that you have on planet Earth.
One of the things I told the members in my group at one time, and some people thought I was a little crazy, I said, listen, if you guys believe in God and you guys believe you have a purpose here, if you stop living your purpose, if I was God, I would take you away.
I hear you.
Because if you're here for a purpose, why do you want to stop living your purpose? Why do you want to just stay on a bed and stay in the house moping when there are things you can do?
Well,
Not
you know,
because you're taking chemotherapy, you cannot do anything. It's only when you reach a stage of no return, then you cannot do anything. But you find there's people, you know, they got diagnosed, they're doing their treatment, they don't want to go to work, they don't want to cook, they don't want to wash, they don't want to do certain things. No, you have to continue living because, like I said, if I was God, you don't want to continue living, come home and meet me.
but let's look at the different sides to people. Some people are weaker than others. Some people don't take that sort of news good enough. Like you were positive about it, even if it could be and it was, or negative, until of course you put a spin on it and you're here today. But some people, that sort of news, it might just not go down well for some people.
Well, Jan, that's why I created Faces of Cancer. Because a lot of people come to me, and when they come, they look all defeated. And when they leave my office feeling different.
Yeah,
they have a totally
there's the other side to it.
different,
Yes.
aspect of what they're going through. And they're better prepared to go through what they're going through. So if you stay shut up and put yourself in a corner, you're already defeated. You need to get out there and get the help you need to continue living.
So that would be your message to persons.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes,
That would be that
definitely.
message.
And the other thing too, we have a lot of people coming into the office and they all be coming for money. And I tell a lot of them, cancer is a disease of the body, mind, and spirit. So money can't do anything for you if your body and your mind is not prepared. Money can only buy you the medicine. What about your spirit? What about your mind? You concentrating on the money so much that you're not even seeing that your mind and your spirit play a bigger role in what you're going to go through. Sometimes after I talk to them, Jan, is so amazing. Some of them forget his money they came for.
And that's a good thing. But while you're going through this, can one still exercise light or, just go along with their life on a lighter level?
While I was going for chemotherapy, I walked 5 miles every day.
Wow.
So you could still do your exercising.
And what's going on in your mind at this point while you're walking?
While I'm walking, to be honest with you, Jan, I was just embracing nature.
True.
I would see the squirrels. I would wave at the trees because in my mind the trees are all swaying and they're waving at me.
Yes.
Wave back. So it was a nature trip for me every day that I enjoyed.
Freeing the mind, body, and soul, which is what walking is all about.
Yes.
Oh wow, I'm getting goosebumps just hearing that. So let's move back a little bit to that's all positive, but let's go all the way back to now. You have to leave the country. You have to go and get that surgery, which of course we know it was successful. You're 17 years in remission now. Amen to that. Let's talk about you having to give up that job now because, you're in this fight now.
Yes. So giving up the job, of course, everybody likes to know that they have money. And again,
independent.
I was very high up the food chain, if I could put it that way. But giving up the money was not that hard for me because I was fighting for my life. What was more important, the money or surviving? And I remember when I used to be walking, sometimes I'm talking to God and I would say, I'm not going to ask you for anything. But if you decide you want me to survive this, just help me to be an inspiration to others.
Great. Excellent.
So not going back to the job was okay for me because that's what I think I am where God wanted me. I remember telling my husband that I was not going to go back to work and I wanted to start Faces of Cancer St.Lucia. And he was so supportive. I said that was not that was another work of God. Because if your wife is bringing in that much money and she decides not to go back to work, but do something that's going to be bringing in $0.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough call. But he was very supportive. He said, if that's what you want to do, I'm behind you 100%.
But why did you give it up? Because you're letting us understand that
I resigned after the first year of me being out because I did not realize it was going to be so long.
I get you.
After the first year, my contract was up because I was on contract.
Right.
And so I didn't know how long I was going to be out anyway. So I just resigned.
I see.
Yeah.
And the children, how did they take that? How did they accept that? How was it for you going over to the States and being with your kids?
The only one that I was worried about was my son because he was very young at the time. And we had moved him back. He came back to St. Lucia together with us in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And we just didn't want to move him again to come back to the U.S. So my husband stayed back with him, and he would come. My husband would come and go while my son stayed in St. Lucia. So I was always worried about him because he's an introverted child. And after about 1 year being away from him, I said, no, we have to take him. We have to take him up. So he came up and he came to Georgia with us and went to school in Georgia.
So tell me, because you mentioned that you're the St. Lucia's first certified patient navigator. First, I want to understand what that is, and that's for give us some more details for breast and pancreatic cancer. Okay, so how important is guidance and support for someone newly diagnosed?
Okay, so it is my hope that eventually everybody that is diagnosed will come to Faces of Cancer so that we can guide them along the way. We can tell you about the whole process. We can, being a patient navigator, you have dialogues with your patient. You don't say, go to this doctor. But we would tell you, okay, you need an oncologist. We have 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here are the pros and cons. And you're going to make your own decision which doctor you want to go to. If you decide you don't want any of these, we'll tell you, okay, I will say, okay, let me contact my navigator in Trinidad or Jamaica or wherever, and they would give me a list the same way with the pros and cons. So I will tell you, if you choose to go to Trinidad, these are the ones that we recommend. These are the pros and cons. You choose what you want.
I got you.
After you choose the one you want, then I will contact whichever country. I will contact the patient navigator in that country. And this person is going to assist you getting a place to stay, getting a taxi, so that doing up your schedules with whatever facility
making life a little
choose.
easier.
It makes life easier on you.
Very good.
There's a lot you don't have to do. The patient navigator will do it for you.
Wow. And how has that been going right here in St. Lucia? And it seems as if Faces of Cancer is doing pretty good, because Luke, you're talking about the different countries, meaning the Caribbean.
Yes.
So maybe we can touch on that. Tell us how many countries you're already involved in, and let people understand that don't always look at it as a death sentence, because there is hope.
Okay. So we have had people in St. Lucia go to Trinidad. And the patient navigator in Trinidad, she's very thorough. She would even send you a picture of the person that's going to be picking you up. She will send you pictures of the place she got for you to stay. So it's not like you go into Trinidad and you're walking into somewhere you don't know or anything of the sort. You're walking in there with all the pictures, so nobody can bring you the wrong place. You know where you're going.
Right.
And they always check up on you. So they have your schedule. You go into this doctor at that time. So you come from the doctor, you will get a call from the patient navigator to ask you how you're doing, how you're feeling. Is there anything else they can do for you to make your journey better? So we have sent people to Trinidad. St. Vincent has sent people to us in St. Lucia. Dominica, we have had 2 Dominican patients.
Okay. How did that work out?
It worked out very well. So it's a good thing, and they all feel happy that they don't have that burden of doing all that work to get people they want. Even we have, even in Martinique, we have sent people to Martinique.
Right.
And we have a driver, which he would do, I would just give him a call and he'll be there. We have his picture and everything. So that makes it easier for people who have no resource, no people in these countries where they can go to, but they still would rather do their treatment over there. We don't have one in Guyana. A lot of patients choose Guyana for radiation because of the cost, but we don't have a patient navigator from Guyana. However, we have people that we have looked for on our own that will assist you in Guyana. So there's a lady who has a 1-bedroom apartment. There's another lady with a studio apartment. We have 2 drivers. So we have people, although we don't have a patient navigator in Guyana, we have resources where we can send you to different places.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's very good. And all the islands you've mentioned, how has it been going? Do they sort of twist as well? So not only St. Lucia sends, but they send right through and all the countries?
It's all about the patient. It's wherever the patients decide they want to go.
Okay.
Then we'll contact the patient navigator in that particular island, and
I see.
we'll have it work out.
I think it's time for us to open the lines, yeah? So I'm sure you have a question for Kay, so you can call us on the WhatsApp platform. Call us at 2870971. The WhatsApp platform is 2870971. And if you want to call the studio line, you can call us at 572-9710. 572-9710. Call us. Dorothy K would be very happy to answer any of your questions, right? Maybe you've had a family member, maybe you are listening and you are suffering as well, or maybe you are in remission like Kay. So you can give us a call. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know whatever you want to ask. Dorothy, trust me, she can answer any question. I've realized that, Dorothy. This is not the first interview of you, but you are just so calm that sometimes I wonder what you talk. When you say, I have a big mouth, I'm like, where? Where? Because you're so calm. Now, you've done outreach programs as well, walks and so on. So fill us in on that, and hopefully a call will come through. Yes.
Okay. So, Jan, years ago we started our own walk. That was I think it was 2015 we did our first walk. It was a Faces of Cancer walk, and it was an awareness walk. So what we did, we walked from Mega J into Corinth, Grand Riviere, and then we came down. It was a little walk because it was a lot of cancer patients. So the walk wasn't.
I was there.
Oh, you were there, huh?
Yeah, I was there. I remember that. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, so that was our.
Because it was open to everybody.
Yes, it was open to everybody, but we did it primarily for cancer patients that were surviving.
Yes.
Coming out of that, we stopped because Massey started doing their walk shortly after that. So it doesn't make sense, 2 people having the same walk. And Massey was going to give us proceeds from the walk. So we stopped doing ours and we went with Massey.
Makes sense.
And after which, I think that was earlier than 2015. It must have been about 2010, 2011, if I'm not mistaken. And after that, CIBC started their walk. And their walk was like a family walk. It was a small walk, just for bank members and so on. You had about 50 people attending the first walk, and then of course they gave us the funds, and they kept supporting us, and the walk grew and grew, and now it's a big walk.
Every October.
Yes, it's even gone to View Fort.
That's right. Yes.
So we support every company that wants to do the work. We also had this last year for the first time. Courts did their walk. We were there with Courts.
Oh yes, I remember seeing you there. Yes. Yeah, that's right, Kay.
It was the nighttime walk. So we support anybody that wants to do a walk, because as long as it's to raise awareness, we're there. With the
was Courts walk for cancer?
Yes, it was.
Wow, I did it. I can't even remember that.
Yes.
But I was there. I liked it. I hope they do it again this year.
Yes, it's going to be bigger this year. They're doing it again this year.
Okay, I'll look out for that.
Yes. What I liked about the walks, to me, the walks were not just a walk. It was an opportunity to give information. From the time of Massey,
True.
I would give a presentation at the walk. With CIBC also, I gave a presentation. Last year was the first time I did not give a presentation because I was off island.
That's why you weren't there.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see you there.
Yes. And I always try to update the public. What's new? what's new in terms of treatment, in terms of research, so we know what to look out for. I did it in Viewfort. I did it everywhere. I did it in Soufriere for Peter Lyons. It's always a good thing to update the public about what's new, because sometimes there are new things that could help us and we don't even know about it.
Right.
So I use that platform, the work platform, to update people as what's new.
Right. Do you have a percentage of how many persons that have been inflicted with cancer? And we're talking about all kinds.
Okay, so actually I don't. The last time I got a number, which was like 2 years ago, it was a very old number. I got it from the ministry, but it was an old number. So I have decided nobody wants to know about things 5-6 years ago. We want to know something more recent that we can work with. I do understand it's difficult because a lot of people get diagnosed and they don't stay in St. Lucia.
Right.
A lot of people, when they think they're diagnosed, before they're diagnosed, they go out and do their tests and stuff overseas. So it's difficult to put a handle on exactly how many people. We can know through the amount of people that are diagnosed at the hospital or some of the labs. I don't know how many of the labs are in sync with the government program to give out that information. I know at one time they were trying to get all the labs to give in the information. I don't know how successful that has been, but it's I would say we might have over 200 people being diagnosed every year.
And this is, maybe my final question, maybe one more, but tell our listeners, because I sort of brought that up in, yesterday when we were talking and saying that you would be here today. I sort of brought that up saying that along the way, as you were getting treatment for your cancer, you also got diabetes and vision in one eye, etc., etc.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Okay, so my treatment was a very harsh protocol because I was diagnosed between a stage 3B and a 4. They could not tell because of the way they approached my my treatment. So I started getting treated before I even started doing the tests. So it was a different approach. So they couldn't tell positively whether I was a 3B or 4 because I had a lesion at the back of my lung that they couldn't get to biopsy. They were talking about specialized treatment in a different state, and they would have to cut me open, take out everything, treat it, and then close back. And so my doctor said, that's a lot. Let's just try other things. It doesn't matter if it's a 3B or 4, as long as we get you to survive. That was
and 4 is the worst.
Yes.
Okay.
So I will never know whether I was stage 3B or 4, but I was somewhere between there.
Right.
So they really went after the cancer very aggressively, and they couldn't stop. So I got diabetes, and they couldn't stop. I had to continue, but the good thing about it, getting diabetes in the U.S., in Georgia, it was mandatory that you go to diabetes education. So for 6 weeks, I was in a class learning how to plan my meals, learning everything about the diabetes. So that was a good thing. That was something good that came out of it.
Is that something that is done free of charge?
Free of charge, yes.
Very good.
Yes. So after that, I got the frozen shoulder, I got the diabetes, I got glaucoma, I got Bell's palsy. So it was just a lot of things were happening along the way. But the one thing I want to mention, the Bell's palsy, this was a tricky one. Although I got at the time I got the Bell's palsy, it was believed that you get Bell's palsy once in a lifetime. And I got it twice, and then 3 times. And recently, I went to the U.S. I had to see a neurologist because they wanted to find out why I got it 3 times, because that's not heard of. And they did a whole bunch of testing and came up with nothing. So I still don't know why I got it 3 times.
Have you done any research? Because you keep going and checking for yourself.
This is the next thing I'll be researching. Bell's palsy. But I did read that you can get it twice if you have an underlying issue.
I see.
But what is the underlying issue?
You haven't found that one out yet.
Yes. There's a lot of things that are going on that I have to research, but it's going to take a while because a lot of things that are going on that are not normal. So all of these things came up and I just had to live with them. One of the reasons why, though my cholesterol level was off the hook, and I remember telling the doctor, I'm doing everything you say to do and it's still not going down. And about a year afterwards, he said to me, it could be two things. It could either be there are two types of cholesterol, and the one I'm exhibiting is the one that is hereditary, and there's nothing I can do to control it.
So it wasn't the medication or anything like that at this point? Gotcha.
Well, for the diabetes, it was the steroids that I was taking. So, but I couldn't stop the steroids.
Wow.
So up until now, I have a hard time controlling the diabetes because the numbers are just going up and down, and it's only because it's medically. It was the medication I was taking, and it was not bad eating. So it's hard to control it.
So do you have the meter or whatever name they call it on your arm or wherever? What's it called?
I had one on my arm, but they had to remove it because it was eating my skin. I was allergic to the gum that comes with it.
Oh my.
So they had to remove it. So I do the pricking every day.
By yourself?
By
You've got
myself.
that? Okay. Sounds good. And before we talk about what's next for Faces of Cancer, I know that, you took all this cancer with grace. But what happens on days where you feel that I'm doing so much for other persons? Why, because you do believe in God, like you said, why am I still here? Do you say that to yourself?
I always think I'm here for a purpose. And like I always believe, when the purpose is over, I'll be gone.
So positive thinking.
Yes, when the purpose
Positive
is over,
thinking.
I'll be gone. But I'm here for a purpose, and I intend to do the best of it. I give it my all. I show up for Faces of Cancer every day. The only time I don't, even when
you're
out
off
in St. Lucia,
island.
I still show up.
Online,
People
yes.
still call me.
That's right.
Yes, so I show up for cancer every day.
And my final question, of course, is what's happening with Faces of Cancer for this year? You did touch a little on it, but let's give it its time and let's talk about Faces of Cancer.
So we'd love to see, every year I try to find something new to add on to Faces of Cancer. Last year we were supposed to send 2 people to get certified in clinical breast exams.
Wow.
But that didn't happen. Although we had approval from the school, finance was not that great at the time, so we were not able to do it. So we still have that on the burner because I feel that this is a very important thing. We all know how to do breast exams, but we don't all know how to do clinical breast exams.
Gotcha.
And clinical breast exams comes with training of the fingers, the fingertips, because if you actually doing clinical breast exams, you can spot a very small lump compared to if you're just doing an ordinary breast exam. So we see the need, and we are going to try and get this year, at least if we can do one person to do the clinical breast exam course. For this year, we want to concentrate on patients' comfort, whether it's at home or at the hospital. And we already started. We found out the need for the chemo room and the oncology center, and we made a donation to the hospital last Tuesday. So it's all about the comfort of the patients. I believe that there's something we can do to impact a lot of people. Instead of waiting for money to impact 10 people, there's things we can do for 100 people. 100 people will benefit out of it. So I believe we will concentrate on these things, which will help the greater pool of people. One thing we want to do too, our health fairs, we understand that the ministry has stepped up and they're now doing all these free testing. but we still see the need of doing it ourselves, because it's true the ministry have stepped up Monday to Friday, that's fine, but we have people that cannot access these services because of jobs. Monday to Friday they're working, and some of their jobs you don't work, you don't get paid.
Right.
So they'd rather come on a weekend.
Right.
And plus the fact that our screening is done by doctors. A lot of people, when you tell them, well, but you could go to the ministry, to the health center and get it done, they tell you, oh, it's the nurse that's going to do it. So they like the comfort of when they come to a Faces of Cancer health fair, they're seen by a doctor.
Right.
So we might not do that much because, like I tell you, I don't like competition. I don't want it to be a competition thing.
Yeah.
I want
even if there's room for all of us, but I get you.
Yes. I want it to be something where we help people that cannot, in other words, be helped by the government.
Right.
So we're going to continue, but we're hoping that people will still access the UHC free clinics.
Right.
Our health fairs will be for those who cannot access it because of work constraints and other stuff.
Well, thank you so much, Dorothy. I think we can go on and on and on, but REV-UP Center is ending in a few minutes. We have 6 minutes, so I got to say thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate all what you have said to our many listeners, and of course we were also on Facebook. And as we say, thank you for your courage, thank you for your compassion, and your unwavering commitment to touching lives. That's very, very important. So thank you so much, and thank you for being here with REV-UP St. Lucia.
Thank you very much, Jan, for having me. Anything to spread the word about cancer, to help people know that we are here. Come on in. We will help you navigate your system. We will show you what you should do, what you should not do. All the myths that are floating around, come to us. We deal with facts. We deal with research. We don't deal with myths. So come into us. We'll help you clear your head and leave with a different attitude towards cancer.
Positive thinking. I totally agree with that. Thank you so much for that information. Right. Okay. Well, St. Lucia, you heard it. This was Dorothy Skeete-Phillip. A lot to digest there. Quite a lot to digest there. And some of you may have heard it before. Some of you're hearing it for the first time. Whatever way it is, I hope you got lots of information from us here. And of course, you stay tuned, because Kay might certainly be back again to talk about what other plans there is for Faces of Cancer. Right. Okay. Let's take in some music. And of course, I'll be back to say goodbye. Stand by. Something is totally on here. Yes. So we got to see what's going on here. Well, I think it's time for me to say goodbye. Right. Stand by. Got to put this on. And before I do that, I'll say goodbye right now. Yes, because we only have 3 minutes. So Zen the DJ will be on at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So stand by. This is why I say goodbye. Don't drink and drive. Don't drive and drink. Don't text and drive. And don't you walk and text. The life you save may be your very, very own. Love, protect, respect. Wrap it up, St. Lucia. Be good to you and be good to everyone else around you. Lady J signing off. Bye.